Hey there, welcome to Her Truth Revealed, Unraveling Our Midlife Era. I'm your host, Wonderful Morrison. This space is for the woman who's done pretending, done hiding, and ready to step fully into her truth. Midlife isn't about fading into the background. It's a time where resilience lights the way and authenticity becomes the loudest voice in the room. In this season of our lives, we are more than just survivors. We are creators, revolutionaries, and unapologetic women rewriting the rules. I've been through my battles, rebuilding from loss, betrayal, and heartache. But here's the truth. Every challenge, every tear, and every setback has led me to this moment of profound transformation. Together, we're going to dive into raw, real conversations that shatter stereotypes, tackle the tough stuff, and embrace the powerful magic that is midlife. So, if you're ready to live this chapter with boldness and joy, hit subscribe. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it and leave a review so we can keep this revolution going. Ladies, no more masks, no more apologies, just the truth of who we are. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of Her Truth Revealed, the podcast where midlife women chat about all things to do with our beautiful journey of remembrance and all the things that come with it, whether it's our physical body, uncertainties, emotional well-being. Gosh, there's a whole list of fun things. But the thing is, we're not doing this alone. There is millions of us that can no longer be quieted, and we don't want to be to begin with. So today I'm going to have a really fun conversation with a friend who is in another part of the world. And we're going to talk about her journey of becoming a midlife coach and menopause coach, because that is really the most fascinating. Menopause is something we all women know, and no one escapes it, but no one has talked about it. We've all been on our personal journey of discovering, and she is going to share with us her expertise and the things that she has discovered along the way. But before we get into that conversation, I just want to say thank you to all of you who listen, who share, who review, who leave beautiful little love notes. That has helped our podcast to grow and be heard in many, many parts of the world. Thank you so much. Continue to follow us on our social media. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. So without further ado, please welcome my friend Dilyana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to having me here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because one of our first conversations was just a curiosity of what got you to, to this place you are today where you are a menopause coach. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what got you here.
Oh my gosh, I coming from yoga background, I discovered my passion in my 40s that actually I want to use this science and practice of yoga to help others to heal. And I find out that it's actually a wonderful tool to help in a many way. In the beginning, I was focused more on chronic pain, and then I felt that I would like to focus more in women, more in emotional, mental, and physical aspect when they going through perimenopause and menopause. Specifically emphasize on mindfulness, how to breathe, how to relax, how to maintain the cortisol level in normal, so that they balance other hormones in natural way, naturally, without medication, without second guessing. Because what I discovered with my own experience was that I went entering my early 40s already exhausted and frustrated. And I didn't understood why, with all my knowledge in health and wellness, I wake up tired. I barely went through the day without endless cup of caffeine. In the afternoon, I want to go to bed. In the evening, in 2 a.m. in the morning, my eyes is wide open, and I wonder why. Actually, when I barely went through the day, now I cannot sleep. And that
Yeah.
that vicious circle repeat day after day, and I didn't listen my body. I keep pushing, and I didn't know that actually was going on. And I have my full-time job. I building this online business, and I went to see the doctors, but they want to prescribe me the sleeping pill and or antidepressant.
Mhm.
But I knew
Yes.
that it's not the solution. And what I find out in the many group that I participated, join after, is that many women are lost in this period of time. They don't know where to go, with who
Mhm.
to speak, what to do, what's going on actually in their body, with why suddenly they become to gain weight, why suddenly they cannot sleep.
Yeah.
This emotional roller coaster, hot flashes, mood swings, and so much more. And they are completely lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my become my passion in to educate and to empower women to seek the expert out there, what's possible for them to heal even themselves by themselves.
Yes. And you just shared something that I think so many women in this midlife experience without recognizing, like, you're so tired during the day, and then 2 3 a.m. you're just can't sleep, you're just wide awake. And at first, because everybody has, because we live in such an anxiety driven world, that the assumption is your brain is moving, there's been plenty of times where, like, one of my really good friends, she's thinking of nothing, but she cannot sleep. She just could not close her eyes and rest. So in that journey, so you're teaching yoga and you're experiencing your own did you know that it was perimenopause or menopause at the time?
Not right away, but I start doing the research. And I find out
Mm,
that all the symptoms is actually that. It's what I discovered that many women don't know that because many women know that menopause is officially with the 1 year you don't have period.
yeah,
It's around 50, early 50s,
yeah,
sometimes late 50s, depend, everybody's different. But actually the perimenopause can start decade before that, and the symptoms they start to experiencing the symptoms because the estrogen and progesterone and other hormones start to decline. They don't know what's going on actually, that they're in the perimenopause phase, and they need to change their lifestyle, they need to change how they eat, they need to change many things because what's going
yeah.
on, but they don't know. Many people don't know.
But why don't we know? Why? I mean, we're in the 21st century and we have so many. Why do you think women still? I mean, it's such a new conversation. It's so new, but women have been going through perimenopause and menopause since the dawn of time. Why do you think that there was a huge gap between us knowing and then us going through it?
Thank you for this question. We are prepared from our mothers, from our first
Mm,
period, right? To become a
yeah,
woman, this, but we are not prepared for what's going on after the periods.
yeah,
It was, I think it was decade, maybe last few years after 2000, I hear that it started to speak about, but in the 80s, 70s, 80s,
no,
nobody talk about that.
no.
Maybe between the friends, maybe, but never mother explain, prepare. Nobody prepare us for that chapter of our life. It's kind of when you see that I told you many women are dismissed by the doctor because they told me you're too young. But what that not mean?
Oh.
It's.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said something earlier. When I was really young, I remember women in their 40s, like my mom, they were prescribed a lot of antidepressants because they thought that that's what the problem was. It's just that they're depressed. And now they're linking it to perimenopause and menopause, that's just the process that we go through. When they offered you how did you know that it wasn't an antidepressant thing? How did you know that? Like, did you know it intuitively or?
I think intuitively, yes, mostly, and I knew that it's because I know myself. I'm very positive person.
Mm,
That's why I cannot understand myself in the beginning, what's going on actually,
yeah.
because I'm somebody who is very enthusiastic, very energetic. I jump right away from the bed and I start to take a time before I get up from the bed until one day I wasn't able to move at all. That was, and I started
Oh,
experiencing depression. It wasn't me. And many women don't feel themselves.
yes.
They kind of feel that they was themselves. They used to be leaders, achievers, in a leading position, and suddenly the menopause starts slow them down, and
Mhm.
their brain start to function in different way. They cannot focus. They burst in tears suddenly. That's irritating because it's not you. It's not
Yeah.
usually you, right? But if you talk more, you educate more what I'm doing with my podcast, what I'm doing here with you now, and show that it's what's going on, what is possible for them, so that they can start take care and pay attention in their late 30s, early 40s. They can start to feel some changes.
Yeah. And when you were starting to feel the changes and the doctors, as they do dismiss you or say, oh, here, take some pills, or, you know, like I had a thyroid problem, but I didn't know that was the early signs of perimenopause, but they wanted to remove it. And
Yeah.
I chose not to get it removed, and I figured out how to, lessen it on my own, like get better. But so when women come to you and they don't know, they have no clue, but they know they feel something's different. How do you help them through? Because there's a fine balance of medical and non-medical. How do you know where to help them in that?
I think in a lot of things happen in energetic level. I think the
Mhm.
root cause that they need to treat is the stress, because stress trigger
Yeah.
in hormones. They trigger the sleeplessness, then the tiredness, and then become a vicious circle. You don't know if the stress is first that trigger the symptoms or symptoms trigger the stress. It is kind of, and then, so what I teach and help and coach is how to regulate the nervous system, reset the nervous system with different relaxation techniques, so maintain the cortisol level normal, and deal with the stress, and then you can harmonize other hormones in natural way.
Really love that you specified that stress is the core issue, because when we don't know what's going on, it already incites stress. You're like, oh my God, what's happening here? Right. Or you just become irritable without knowing why you're irritable, which is a lot of so you said earlier something about lacking estrogen and progesterone and things like that. Again, there's a real fine line of medical and non-medical things. How do we know the difference between, oh, we should go get this medically checked, or it's just me going through the change? What's the marker, or how do you measure like when it's not one or the other, or
I,
whether it is?
I always recommend to check the hormones because it starts from there. You have
Mhm.
to know where you are with your hormone changes, because everybody's individual experience is different. So where you lack most estrogen or progesterone or testosterone or what exactly. And from there, there's of course supplements, there's of course estrogen, there's of course hormone replacement therapy. But most of all, you need to start, you pay attention of your mindset and your emotions, your stress. So they're both complement very well with one another. I cannot exclude one and prefer other. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Many women just prefer completely natural, completely um, holistic approach. The other is more rely on hormone replacement therapy. Every case is different, but still you need to pay attention of your nervous system and know how to
Mm.
regulate your nervous system. I think is the beginning. And then from there, you can decide which avenue to explore more.
I think the nervous system is the master class. I agree with you in that way of understanding what the nervous system is, what it does, how it affects so much of how we're choosing. Because sometimes we just want to stop feeling because we're so desperate to not feel that way. So you go immediately into medication, but sometimes that's not the right answer because you might have some allergic reactions, or you don't, you have to regulate the amounts, because that's another piece. Then you get really intricate on how much hormones, how much estrogen, how much testosterone, which is another, my gosh, I went to an event that it just made my mind too full of information, and it stressed me out even more. right? Because now I
It's
have too much
overwhelmed. Yeah.
information.
Yeah, it's overwhelmed. And what I
Yes.
can say it's also another thing is to start listening the body because the body start to signal where to pay attention, in what to pay attention. You can start experiencing some joint problem. You can start experiencing hair problem, skin problem. Body start to signal where you have to pay attention and where to emphasize to regulate the, let's say, overall well-being, right? So listening the body, regulate the stress, reset the nervous system. That's the essential to heal during this process.
Okay, so let's pretend I'm a new client and I am like, what do you mean by regulate the nervous system? Like, walk me through an exercise, one exercise maybe that is a nervous system related exercise. What would that look like?
Let me explain a little bit more and then I
Okay.
go to the exercise. So we have parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. And when you're in chronic stress, in a fight and flight or freeze mode, if that become chronical, that's you can start experience adrenal fatigue. A body you're gonna choose
Mm,
always survival than the reproduction. And then that's why you need to stay more in a reset, relaxation mode than so much in fight
fight
and
or
flight.
flight.
So when you start to feel overwhelmed, when you start to feel under the pressure, when you start to experience the anxiety, I
Hmm.
always teach breath work, a deep breathing. Even if you want to see the psychologist, they're gonna, if under the panic attack or something, they're gonna
Hmm.
say, okay, stop now. Let's take a deep breath, breathe deep, and you can start really feel in the body the change right away. Right away.
Yeah.
So my tool and what I train and teach is how to relax. There's many tools that I use to regulate the vagus nerve. This is the biggest nerve, which is signal. It's kind of network in your
Mm,
body that transmit in the different hormone signals. So when you try to use different techniques and tools, there's so many. Everybody's different. I give 2, 3 variation, different what most speak to the person because everybody is individual. One want little bit
right.
shorter, the other want little bit longer, and prefer more meditation. But mindful breathing meditation, I think, is the best because I walk you through the scanning the body and every part of the body. When I mention, I emphasize now you connect there, feel and breathe there. You breathe. Let's say
Mm,
you start from the your legs up to the top of the head, and you mention different party of the body. I emphasize, okay, breathe there, breathe. If you feel the tension somewhere on the body, let's say in your solar plexus, where it's little bit above your belly,
mhm,
but then you focus there and breathe there. That's mindful breathing. So the key is to find the anchor, to focus it
mm,
to when you switch the focus from these racing thoughts and that's create the anxiety or what create the fear or whatever negative thoughts, just to be the present, be as much possible present, mindful what's happened inside the body. Choose your anchor, can be how you
mhm.
breathe, some organ of the body, your heart, your belly, doesn't matter. It just feel the movement of the breath if you like. That can be anchored too. Doesn't matter what anchor you find, you just focus there and breathe deep in the way I teach you because there's also a lot of details. So
Yeah.
if you want, you can breathe a little bit now.
I was doing it when you were saying it. I was thinking, well, why can't we do it on our own? Because I was thinking about it when you're saying, okay, deep breath and feel into the body. What makes it so hard for us to do it on our own?
Because most of the people, most usually they breathe with the chest. Even when they breathe,
Ah,
I say take a deep breath. They move their shoulders up. That's
yeah.
mean they still upper body. I what I teach is to focus more in the lower part of the body, in the belly, and the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is really important. The pelvic floor engage. You breathe from there. So take a deep breath, and then
Oh,
it's a 3-part breathing, and you see how that diaphragm move when you inhale and when you exhale. That's how it expand. And that's why I sometimes I emphasize put your hands in both sides of the rib cage, or one on the belly, one on the chest. It keep breathing to see how that change. You can
Oh,
feel the expansion of diaphragm and all this. So not everybody, when you say deep breathe, they also use the mouth. I emphasize you need to breathe through the nose and not open the mouth most of the time.
yeah.
That's also important for oxygenate the blood circulation, the cells, and the brain. And when you oxygenate the brain, that's help with the sleep also.
Ah.
I do my techniques that can help you fall asleep easily, stay asleep during the night, and wake up refreshed.
And I guess it makes sense that we have to practice it more on our own and don't want to do it on our own because we're already so busy doing 5 million things a day that we need the guidance and the peace, right? Do you recommend, so when you're working with your clients, is it in person or is it online?
It's mostly online. I have and I have in person. I mean, one-on-one or groups depend. In person, it can happen, but mostly online.
And do you recommend that people have a specific space that they do this in? Like when they sign up with you, do you have them go to a quieter, that sometimes they do that. They're like, "Okay, find a quiet place." But what if you don't know where a quiet place is, or if your apartment is so small, or you have like 10 kids that won't is that too specific, or can you do it wherever they're at?
You can, it's preferable to find a quiet space, but because we are busy, as you mentioned, and most of us work in the office or at home in the computer, what I recommend is 10 minutes in the morning, 10
Mhm.
minutes in the middle in the day, like in the lunch break, 10 minutes in the evening before you sleep. If you increase, if you feel that you need more, but start with 5, 10 minutes
Mhm.
per day. You can, even when you walk outside, go to the store, or walk your dog,
Uh-huh.
or just take a short walk somewhere in the park. You can
Mhm.
breathe and stop. The most important is find some time just to focus in yourself, tune inside, and just breathe. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So I love what you're saying because we're able to empower our own selves to do it on our own. But you help guide people because we're just not proficient. As human beings, we're not proficient at breathing, it sounds like. It sounds like we're not as well trained at breathing properly. We breathe from our chest, which it makes a lot of sense why we're always like, right? Losing breath sometimes, especially when anxiety kicks in. If you're
When
just
you're
getting it
under
from
the
your
stress,
chest.
you have shadow because when you're baby or little kids,
Mm.
if you observe them, they always breathe with the belly. But later
Yes.
on in the kindergarten, in the school, you start experiencing stress, you start experiencing busyness with school, homework.
Yeah.
They forget slowly, slowly, slowly. It can become a habit to shadow work with chest.
Yeah. Which shall it shortens the way that we breathe.
Short-term, yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
becomes more survival, right?
Yeah, more survival, yeah, you just forget, you don't pay attention. If it sound very, very easy, you can do it by
Yeah.
yourself. Still, you need a guidance, as you mentioned, because you need to change the habits, to become in another.
Yeah.
When that's become your new habits, yes, you can go by yourself.
Yeah, I could see that. When, let's say, you have women who are like, well, I already know so much about menopause. I've seen my doctors and all of this stuff. Why do you think that talking about perimenopause and menopause is still important today with even all of the people talking about it and people think they know more? Like, do we really know a lot still, or why is it still an important conversation?
Even we still know about what I think in the workplace is something that we need to talk more
Mm.
and educate more the CEO and men who deal with women
Oh, that's
in an
good.
executive position and high like directors and others. These women are surrounded by men that don't understand
Yeah.
what's going on. Imagine you're in the middle in the important meeting, and you start bursting with these hot flashes or something embarrassing, you cannot even explain what's going on, right? Or you have employee women who start to have a headache often, start to have
Yeah.
absenteeism, low productivity. Many women. There's research show that 68% of women leave their job during this period of time in perimenopause.
Yeah, because it's not that they're not capable of the job, it's the stress
It's
of
the
their
stress,
body
it's don't
changing.
know
Yeah,
demanding from their bosses, the depend of what kind of job they have.
yeah,
So I need to more educate that in the workplace they need a little bit more space. What's happened, the conversation. They need to have this conversation there too, and
yeah,
that's why you need to educate more. Even the women say, "I know
yeah,
a lot about menopause," but conversation in a workplace or conversation in a public event, it's still
yeah. Yes, I agree with you. And I love that you said that, especially because you're pinpointing women that kind of push it aside too, because they work and live in a high stress environment. They don't have time. I ain't got time for that. But really, that's what's shortening their lives is that they're not making time for themselves and their bodies.
And
And
from
yeah,
there, the mental health and other issue that can provoke other stuff. If you don't pay attention, you push away, you didn't listen your body, you don't take a measure, just can become a bigger. The body
yeah.
starts screaming for sure.
Yes, for sure. So, as we're nearing the end of our conversation here, what is your top three recommendation for women who are in those high achieving, high like stress jobs? What's the first, like, what's a sign? I mean, because you said everybody's different, there's different signs and different things, but how do you know? Like, you're 40 years old, let's just say there's a woman who's 45 and she's driving home from work and all of a sudden she gets this anxiety like she has to pull over to the side of the road because she's having massive anxiety. What makes you think that okay, this is a hormone thing you need to go talk to your doctor about? Because most women don't. They go to the doctor and they think, oh, I think I have heartburn, or I think there's something wrong with my who knows what. But what is your advice to women who aren't even thinking that it's hormone?
Yeah, if it's something unusual, start to repeat. Say this
Mhm.
burst of the anxiety or this change of mood often. You
Yeah.
start really to want to cry, then start to laugh. And then at home, often you can see the difference with your close one. You
Mm,
can slap on them, you can scream on them. If it's not usual, start like in control. You cannot control that anymore. First of all, you need to speak with your other one, your family, with your close to you people who can understand you, what's going on with you emotionally. So you need to share what's going on inside with the people
yeah.
that you trust. There's
Great
other one,
advice.
other community, people that you love, but you need to not suppress, not avoid, not push away. You need to take out this from your body to not suppress your emotions because it can become worse, really.
Yeah, that's great advice. What else would you say? What's a second thing that you would give advice
Uh,
on?
yes, I find the support somehow from people like me, for other expert specialists. That there's, if it's not official doctors, there's naturopath, there's
Mm,
counselors, there's other gynecologists, women who are
mm.
more aware. So sometimes men not so much, but even men, but gynecologists can start to understand more what's going on about the hormones. It just if they say, I think about this, what you suggest, you can start the conversation from there.
Yeah, that's another great piece of advice is to just talk about it. What's a final piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's in the middle of going from perimenopause to menopause? What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
I would like to change the perspective. I see that's not the end of their life,
Mm,
even though they feel that. It's just the beginning of something more powerful and beautiful can be really empowering if you find the wisdom inside out, and find this peace inside out. That chapter can be really more powerful than just change the perspective and see that what positive can extract from there. And there's a lot of humor around there. There's a lot of, just don't see that is the end of the world. You have to deal alone. You don't need to deal alone with that. There's support out there, and definitely you're not crazy.
That's so good to know.
It's just a period of time that is gonna pass as everything else. But you can really make more pleasant this journey.
Yeah. I thank you for saying that, because I think for too many years, too many generations before us suffered silently in this mask of what is natural. It's a natural progression for all women, but they've been suffering silently because I didn't hear anything about it. I refuse to do it. So thank you for continuing this conversation, that it's important for us to still talk about, especially in certain areas where it takes longer for them to get the information, like corporate, high achieving, high stress environments where it's just not the entry point of conversation. So I asked this question of all of my guests. If you're walking down the street and you saw the young Dilyana in a coffee shop, what would you say to her that she would listen to? 25-year-old version of you.
Never give up on your dreams. Believe in yourself, and you're just create for share your light with the world. It just never doubt yourself.
That's beautiful. And do you think your 25-year-old self would be like, absolutely, high five?
Maybe not.
Who
Maybe
knows?
they're more. They say, "Oh no, I know what I'm doing. I know. I hear that. I know."
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think there is a lot of wisdom in our youth. We just don't recognize, right? Because we have more wisdom today. Well, I really appreciate that you brought your energy today and that you gave us your expertise. I am really going to think about my breathing now, because you're right. I think majority of my breathing is up here. And
Yeah.
sometimes lately I've been waking up and I have anxiety for no reason. None whatsoever. And the one day I realized it's because I forgot to take my HRT. But I didn't put it together until later on, until I got in a fight with my husband. And then I was
I
like,
just want to
oh,
invite you and everybody else who listen there. If you want to continue the conversation, you always feel free to have a coffee chat with me, and you like a woman to woman talk about the
yes,
stuff. You can
yes.
keep discovering stuff that can support you.
Absolutely. And we'll have all of Dilyana's information on the show notes so that you can connect and do the coffee chat. Listen, ladies, you do not have to do this alone. You
No.
don't have to do this alone. You have a beautiful community of people that you engage in this conversation. And she also has a podcast that is geared towards this conversation right here, is what we're talking about. So thank you again. Thank you everyone who's listening in it. If this conversation meant something to you and it intrigued you and it engaged you, please share with anybody. And don't forget to leave your reviews. But like my mother said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Until next time, everyone, thank you so much. Be powerful in your own energy as always. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for being with me on today's journey. If you felt something resonate, if you saw yourself in this conversation, please take a moment to subscribe. Share it with a friend who needs this space and leave a review. It helps others find us, and it's a small way you can be a part of this powerful movement. Ladies, this isn't just a podcast. It's a community, a revolution, a place where midlife women come together to embrace our hard-earned wisdom and vibrant truth. So thank you for being part of this. Remember, it's time. It's time to step into our truth. No more holding back. Midlife is ours to own, and it's only getting started. So, until next time, take a breath, honor your journey and live with audacity, courage, and joy. This is our time, our truth, unraveled, revealed, and celebrated.